It's our good pal, future Savannah Banana and World Series champ, JD Urso, checking in. Where are you right now?
What's up, Coach? I'm here at Banana Land. Got some of the boys working out behind me, but yeah, we're in Savannah.
Nice, man. Savannah Bananas. Just take everybody through the process, man. You will talk a little bit more about the specifics of UT winning because this is the first time that we've spoken since you guys were able to be national champions. But take us through the thought process of going from UT, finishing up your college career, and how you ended up joining up with the Savannah Bananas organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was definitely pretty wild. It started with a guy I used to compete against in Chase Acuff, who did his last 2 years at Rollins College. And he reached out to me through Instagram and said, "Hey, do you know anybody who might be interested in trying out for the Bananas?" And I hit him back right away. I said, dude, me, please." And that night, Coach Vava, who's the head coach of the Party Animals, reached out to me through Instagram again and just introduced himself and told me that he'd like me to make a trick shot video. So the next day, I ran out there to UT. I said, "Hey, Pops, I need a couple extra ground balls today, but not the usual ground balls. We're going to do some trick plays today." And he was pretty fired up. We made the video. I sent it over. And the next day, the Bananas gave me a call, the recruiting coordinator, Barry Aldridge. And he said, "Hey, man, we'd love to offer you a contract to come play for the Visitors, which is Banana Ball's intro team. You can think of it like a minor league organization for the big show. And we're fortunate enough to play 6 games this summer, 3 this past weekend against the Party Animals, and we'll play 3 more against the Bananas in about 10 days or so. So it's been wild, especially coming straight from college and, playing normal baseball to coming over to Banana Land and now being a banana ball player. It's been quite the month, and I'm not looking forward to slowing down anytime soon.
So for the people that don't know, everybody I think knows the Savannah Bananas, but what about the Party Animals? What about the teams like surrounding them, including the Visitors and the Party Animals? Like, what does that process look like? How do you move from team to team? How do you eventually be a member of the Bananas?
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people compare the Bananas to the Harlem Globetrotters, but the
Mhm.
biggest difference is these other teams that the Bananas are playing against are talent-wise pretty much just as good as the Bananas. This past weekend playing against the Party Animals, they have a former first rounder in Jake Skull. So it's not a one team big leagues here. Every
Mhm.
team that's in the organization and every team that's playing banana ball has absolute stars. Obviously the Bananas are the team that the whole organization is based off, and most of those players are the highest tenured players that have been here, but all the other teams are just as competitive. And the only way to really get onto a full-time team at this point is through the Savannah Visitors, which all of my teammates pretty much just either came from college or stepped down from pro ball, independent ball, affiliate ball, whatever it may have been. But this is pretty much the only way to the big show now. And the 6 weeks here is essentially like a spring training 6 weeks. And there's definitely a lot to learn. Just being a ball player isn't enough to come here and instantly be good at banana ball. This is a totally different animal, and that's what we're learning right now.
How many teams are there outside of the Bananas?
So there's 3 other teams, so 4 total with the Bananas, and a lot of the diehard Banana fans know that it's expanding to 6 teams. There's going to be a
Wow.
public draft in October, and there's going to be 2 new teams announced. The mascots and the team names have not yet been announced, but the fans do know 2 more are coming. So that will put the league at 6, and we're going to compete. Everybody's going to go at it. It's not going to be a Globetrotter-esque league. It's going to be
Mhm.
competitive, professional banana ball, and I think people are going to start to realize that there's athletes on every single team that are phenomenal athletes, all stars, and they're going to be fan favorites.
So now you're a member of the Visitors. What do you have to do to put yourself on the map to continue to kind of climb that ladder to eventually be a member of the Savannah Bananas one day?
Well, I think the first step and the most important aspect of the reason why we're here is to serve the fans. This is fans first entertainment. Everything we do is to put a smile on somebody's face, either in the stands, watching ESPN, or watching YouTube back home. And so that's definitely number one is the fan interactions. I can't tell you how many kids I get to meet, whether if it's just being in the line at Chipotle or they do make their way out here onto the field, and just a 30-second conversation, and I'll get a DM later that night by the kid's mom, and "Hey, you have no idea how much you impacted my
Mhm.
kid's life today. He hasn't stopped smiling since he got home." And so those are the biggest aspects we look at. And then obviously the social media aspect's big too. a lot of these guys have awesome followings, and it's always a plus to be able to share a message and have more people receive it. I think most people would agree Coach Rack is probably, at least top two right now in that fan engagement, and he's able to go out there and make such a positive impact, whether it's teaching the game of baseball or teaching the game of banana ball to these kids, or spreading positive information, whether it's from God or Jesus Christ, spreading a little bit of religious information, or just positive vibes, encouraging young athletes to keep trying and keep playing the game of baseball, because we know it can be so frustrating. So we're able to inspire somebody and make them realize there's more to this game than just hitting a double. That's really when we're doing our job. And obviously the third aspect is performing. You go out there, the umpire says play ball, and now it's time to go be an athlete like we always have been. That's the aspect I think most of us just kind of black out and go play banana ball like we've always played baseball. It's a little bit more wiffle ball mentality, but this time of 14,000 fans watching. So just a little bit different, but we're having a blast.
I've already seen some trick plays from you. I know this is a different aspect altogether from what you're used to playing, more of a traditional type game. But how do you practice the trick plays, and what else do you have up your sleeve over these next couple of games?
Yeah, that's the awesome part is the process that made us successful in the game of baseball doesn't really change. All that changes is now what we were practicing. The routine ground ball hit right at me doesn't look like it used to anymore. Now I'm starting to test my limits with, all right, can I bounce the ball between my legs and throw it on the run and get him out? Okay, now can I do around the world behind my head and bounce it? Maybe do a little transfer between the legs, behind the back, and get it over there. Because the main thing is these guys are running hard 90s. Nobody's slowing down trying to let you make a trick play on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing the hitter wants, is for somebody to do a trick and throw them out still. So you got to have that same internal clock that you've always had playing baseball. But now we're starting to test the limits of what we can do with the baseball once we catch it. And that's the most fun part, is we come out here and we're in an environment that they tell us, hey, feel free to fail. Feel free to try something and, look a little silly when you miss it. That's how you really learn your limits. You learn, okay, this is a new trick play nobody's seen before that might be able to be debuted in 2 weeks or so. But they definitely tell us when the game starts, don't try anything that you haven't been successful with in practice, in the scrimmage games. And that's what leads to us being successful out there, is trying these plays hundreds of times in the scrimmages with runners running. And then when the lights turn on, it's time to give it a test. And if you fail, you fail, but you can't make a trick play without trying.
What was it like, your first trick play? What was that like to be able to, knowing that the ball's hitting, knowing that the ball's hit to you, knowing that you're about to do this, and then to be able to perform it and actually have it work, and then, give yourself, some love there on TV. Everybody seemed to be really happy about it.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. And, to hit the trick on the first time I tried it was definitely a goal of mine. That play specifically, I take the ball and I bounce it between my legs and I catch it again with the glove in front of my legs. It's really nice when that ball's hit a little bit off your left foot, because now you can just kind of swing the glove in rhythm rather than catching it in between the feet and having to kind of create the own rhythm
Mhm.
yourself. It worked out perfect. That ball was hit, medium to hard, which is what you want, because the harder the ball's hit, the more time we have to
Right.
throw them out. But definitely a little bit of a blackout moment. Once the ball was in the air and I could see the trajectory was, going to hit the first baseman in the chest, I then thought about, how can I entertain these fans a little bit more? Gave them a little wave. Come on,
Mhm.
guys, got them going. But to explain the feeling of 14,000 fans cheering for you, it's tough. It a lot of it you kind of just black out, and that night you're laying in bed, you're just like, wow, that was so much fun. But looking forward to doing it again in a few days, and this time against the Bananas at home. But Louisville, Kentucky was amazing. Shout out to those fans for sure.
What can fans expect to see from you on the field over there at third base? What kind of tricks do you have up your sleeve? Because I know that every single time the ball gets hit down the line now, people are going to be expecting big things.
Yeah, I think you can expect to see me stay at third base, for the most part moving forward, starting to really find a home there and really enjoying playing the hot corner. You can definitely expect to see some more trick plays. The one that I'm looking to break out next is similar to the one I hit in Louisville, but instead of going between the legs, I'm going to go all the way around the back. I call it like a little around the world, and hopefully catch it with the glove. We're going to have to drop down the arm slot a little bit lower, create a little bit more angle around the diamond to get it to the first baseman. But that's what's coming next, is the around the world. Once we get that one done, I want to do the one behind the back, bounce off my left foot back up to me. That's going to be the third one coming soon, but I'm not going to stop testing the limits. I'm going to keep going. When you fail to trick plays, you kind of feel like you made an error in baseball,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, that's part of the job. It's part of what the fans want to see, and we're going to give them what they want.
I like that. You got to take off your hat, knock it off your hat, do some crazy stuff. Let rest it on the sunglasses. I'm sure there's plenty of ideas
Absolutely.
that you have. All right, so this is the first time we've spoken since winning the national championship. Congratulations on that, number 10 total for the University of Tampa. You were the guy that caught the final out. I was actually talking to the great Tony Saladino yesterday, and how special it was to be able to have you and Nico and Cole Russo, three guys that you can't write the history of Tampa baseball without those three last names: Urso, Russo, and Saladino. What was it like now that you have a little bit of time? Look back on it now that it's been a couple of weeks since you guys were able to win the national championship. What can you say about that? What can you say about that experience with your team, with your teammates, and with your dad?
Yeah. Sorry, there's a car driving by,
No, you're
blast
good.
some
You're good.
music. Hope you don't hear him.
No, you're
But
good.
everybody talks about you win a national championship and that bond you have with your brothers lasts forever. And as a guy who hadn't won a championship, you hear that and you're just kind of waiting to experience what that actually means. And like you were saying, to be able to do that with hometown guys that I've known since I was real young. Nico Saladino, he used to play for the Hornets out of Brandon. My
Hmm.
team, the Tampa Titans, as you know, we would
Hmm.
scrimmage them every Tuesday, I believe. We'd go back and forth through locations,
Hmm.
and it was just perfect. We knew every guy on every team. And, to be able to meet up with them in college after playing against them when he was at Brandon High School, then Bloomingdale High School, it's like, wow, we're finally on the same side. And it felt a lot better than competing against him. And Cole was a little different because he played on the same team as my little brother. And being
Hmm.
able to watch that Tampa Blades team when they were 8 years old and just knowing that every athlete on that team was going to be special. And then to be able to be with Cole, who's a few years younger than me, but, both at the time seniors and leaders on our team, it was just so beautiful. And, I think 2.5 weeks has gone by since we won it. And it's just a cloud nine feeling every day, wake up. And I can't lie, I find myself clicking on that Instagram reel to watch the dog pile a couple more times. I think it's definitely going to be a summer that is not going to end until that ring ceremony, and just being able to enjoy what we accomplished every day. Because as a fan of UT for so long, I think I understand better than most people. That was a mountain to climb. That was tough. Being in the losers bracket is not what you want in
Hmm.
playoff baseball. And to be able to just survive in advance and survive in advance, it was like just being 1 inch from death for 2 weeks, but never getting there and just always finding a way to claw our way out. And the Kevin Karstetter 3-run home run was just another moment that it was just like, oh my, this is gonna happen again. But
Yeah.
wow, what a 2-3 week span that was.
Yeah, thank you to Kevin Karstetter because he kept that 3-run home run still to this day. I think one of the biggest swings of the bat in the history of University of Tampa baseball. One thing that talking to your dad a couple of weeks ago, and I know a lot of people want to make the story about you and your dad, right? But your dad would say like it was more than that. Not to make light of it, but it's just like it really was a team. We everybody did it together. But as much as I know Dad wants to say that, like. It's special. I think I saw that you guys are only the second ever D2 father son combo to win, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but to be able to get that moment, I think one of the best moments is they give Cole the trophy and Cole walks over and he gives it to you and your dad. I mean, what was that moment like? It's one thing to catch the final ball, you put it in your back pocket. You still have the ball?
Of course, of
Of course.
course.
Where
I'm
is
never
it?
putting that thing down. I
Where is
left
it?
that back home in Tampa with Dad. It's already
Yeah,
in the trophy case of our
nice.
house, and I think it's gonna stay there.
What was it like? You celebrate the dog pile and then you finally meet dad and you embrace on the field. Can you put into words what that emotion is like? You always dream of it. You've watched it from the sidelines. You've been on the field as a fan, but to be able to be such a big part of the team and to be able to embrace him after that victory, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean it was beyond special. To explain it, it feels like 23 years of hard work, of grinding, and you guys got to understand, like I know you saw it firsthand, Coach Jay, that I started off as a ball player who loved the game, but a ball player that had a long way to go physically.
Hmm.
And for 20 something years I asked my dad, "Hey, will you train me today? Will you train me today?" and he never one time said no. He never one time even hesitated. And it wasn't a one bucket and we're done type of deal. Some days we were there for hours, 5, 6 bucket of balls. And to be able to achieve a goal that big with basically your partner in crime from the beginning, the individual who made me who I am as a human and as a baseball player, and then to be able to see that smile on his face and just hug him and pick him up. I think the only way to explain it is I received a text from one of my best friends, Hayden Erb, and he said, "Does it all make sense now?" And I think
Mhm.
that's the best way to put it. And I just
Right.
responded back with 3 letters. Yes, it all makes sense now. Like that is, I think, the only way I can explain it. Everything I went through, everything we went through together, everything those teams that I played on that didn't achieve that goal, winning the national championship, went through, it all makes sense now. And it's just to end the career on the mountaintop. I mean, I think that's the only way to do it.
I want to ask you about the support from the family and the other people, because it's been so impressive the last couple of years going there and seeing how many people that would travel from Tampa to Cary, North Carolina, to stay there for those, the week and the games. And your mom's somebody, she's the last Urso to get on the show. The support from your mom and your brother and your grandparents and cousins and everybody's family, the Saladino family, the Russos, and just every family, everybody that was out there. What is that like? And starting with your mom and your brother, to be able to have that just never ending support, and to just know that when you look up into the stands, it's never empty when UT is playing.
Yeah, no doubt. And my mom specifically, the gratitude I have towards her, I don't think I could ever explain. The only downfall to the job my dad has was he wasn't able to be at a ton of games that were,
Mhm.
in the summer or, in the spring, that he had his own obligations to his team. And when that happens, you have your mom right by your side. You're waking up at 6 a.m. to her tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, it's time to go play today.
Mhm.
Driving to the games with mom. The game ends, going to dinner with mom. I mean, every aspect of every trip through travel ball, I have to just be thankful for her and the sacrifices she made and the encouraging words that she would give me after a tough game or before the game. I mean, I just can't even explain how much my mom means to me. And I know in her heart, UT baseball is always going to be a huge aspect of it. And
Mhm.
her and my dad right now, or they're in Italy, they're on the beach as we speak right now. And I hope they're just enjoying themselves because my mom, she had to go through that emotional roller coaster of my baseball career, the ups and downs of it, and she sacrificed just as much as any of us. So always going to be so grateful for what she did for me. And my grandparents too. They lived in Lake Elsinore, California. Their daughter, my mom, met my dad. All of a sudden, they're introduced to this game of baseball. And then my mom tells them, "Hey, by the way, I'm having a kid, me." Then a month later, "Hey, by the way, we're going to move across the country to Tampa, Florida, because Joe's going to take a job that's going to end up being the best job
Mhm.
that you could ever get offered, pretty much." They did not hesitate to move across the country with us. They were at my T-ball games, my travel ball games, my high school senior day, college senior day. Every step of the way, Bobby and Papa were with me. And so cannot express how much I love them, how much it means to me that they were able to be there. And all my aunts and uncles, my Uncle Mike, he didn't miss a game. He made sure if you were an opposing pitcher that you felt his presence for good or for bad. You felt Uncle Mike's presence. And my Thea, all my aunts and uncles, they just supported me till the end. And they're still texting me, asking how Banana Ball is going. So I think it's not a secret in Tampa that the Urso family is wild, but we have big hearts and we love each other.
You may not know Uncle Mike, but you sure as hell have heard him if you've ever gone to a UT game. That's for sure. He is a
No
trip.
doubt.
He is hilarious. And then the support of just like your brother, your girl, your friends, like just what have those messages been like for people, like you said with Hayden Erb, but just the support and the love that you've gotten from even like some of your peers and some of your colleagues, some of your former teammates as well.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And, Preston, I have to credit gigantically because I swear part of my success in the game of baseball was all those nasty wiffle ball pitches he threw me
Mhm.
throughout all those years. That guy could move a blitz ball however he wanted, and I
Mhm.
had to learn to hit it. And to grow up with him, and, just to, unfortunately for him, he was the only guy I had to compete against, no matter if it was playing, pickup basketball,
Right.
wiffle ball, and we were bass fishing. So he definitely knows how competitive his big brother is. but I love that guy to death. So proud of what he's doing with the fire department. He's at every game that he's not working a shift. He loves UT baseball. He's not afraid to let us know that he thinks he could be doing what we're doing, maybe even a little bit better sometimes. But we love
Right.
P-Man to death. And my girlfriend, Cassidy, I met her like 2 weeks into college, 6-year college career. She never complained. She never said, "Are you really going to do another college year?" She just put on the UT shirt, came to support. When it was time to go to Miami, she was there for me. The ups and downs of it all, she was been there. She passed every baseball test you could ask a girl to pass. She's officially in the clear. She has what it takes to be a baseball girlfriend for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And her and I sat next to each other during the Mississippi College comeback. It was hot as hell, 8-1. And then we sat there in the front row, and then you guys started scoring runs. And I was like, I guess we can't move. We got to stay here. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely take some credit as well. What is the next 6 weeks? What does the rest of the summer look like for you after these next couple games?
Yep. So we're still here in Banana Land grinding. We got about 2 more weeks here in Savannah. We'll practice today at 5:30, getting ready for those bananas on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. The bananas are a big test for us. Defensively, they're probably by far the best team in Banana Land. So we got to make sure that we're ready defensively to kind of back them up and be able to not get shown up by their backflips. So we're gonna keep grinding. We got about 10 days or about 8, 9 days off before that test. And so we're getting back to work today. Yesterday was a travel day. Body feels ready to go. And so we're right back at it, hammering at the nail. And every day now is about getting better at the game of banana ball, which is a new challenge, but I'm loving it.
Make sure you follow him on all social media platforms. What is it? Hashtag JD Urso 7. That's on
Yeah,
Twitter
underscore
/X.
JD Urso 7
There
across
you
all
go.
my social media accounts. And I think I'm going to have a YouTube account coming soon. I think that's one of my new goals.
There you go, buddy. Get it going, man. Keep
Yeah,
working on that brand, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if I think of any crazy trick plays, I'll text you in the middle of the night so
I
you can
love
use
it.
it and post it all over worldwide. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on all your success, man. I'm so glad that you found a home there with the visitors, ironically enough.
Yeah.
And the future's bright for you, man. Just keep grinding and keep doing what you do. I appreciate your time, my brother. Have a great rest of your week. Talk soon.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you so much for having me. You're the best. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, pal.